paper scraps. It's something that every paper crafter generates at some point during the process. And this month for the Smash Our Stash collaboration, our theme was to use up scraps of some kind. Hey guys, it's Beth. Welcome. It is time for the October 2023 Smash Our Stash collaboration, and this month the theme was scraps again. And it doesn't have to be paper scraps. This could be any scraps you have in your stash: fabric, ribbon, vinyl. We've kind of used them all through the course of our Smash Our Stash collabs over the last couple years, but this month I focused on paper scraps. There is a hashtag up in the title and in the description that you can click on to see the other participants in the collaboration for this month. And if for some reason the hashtag brings in some kind of random stuff, there should be an option to refine search to hashtag only, and hopefully that will clean the results up for you. But please check out that hashtag to see what the other collaborators did this month. Again, I know not everybody used paper scraps this month, so it should be an interesting variety, and I always love to see how people use scraps. I can always use ideas on how to use scraps. So this month I did several different things. One of the first things I did is I went through all of my scrap bags and pulled out, it was a tub's worth of kind of what I would call smaller scraps that I wasn't sure what else I would do with. And I spent a long time die cutting. I mean, I didn't do it all at once. I kind of had it out, and over the course of, it was actually probably 2 months that it was out, I would kind of die cut when I had some time. And then at the end, I'm like, okay, I can't have this mess here anymore. So I just spent hours just die cutting to get it cleaned up. But I used up a lot of scraps, and I got a lot of things die cut. I have some word sentiments, some Halloween die cuts. I just kind of went through all of my dies and thought, like, what would I use on projects that I make all the time? So I put some of the die cuts together that had layers. I have some Christmas die cuts. I had a kit from Queen & Company that had some gnomes. They were like you could make gnomes. And I don't know if they're in this bin or if I have them, they may be with the kit. But I pulled out those die cuts and cut a bunch of the gnome pieces, so they're ready to go. I did some stamping, like if I had stamps and die cut sets, I did some stamping and then die cut them out. I did that with some Christmas ones as well. I had some Christmas words and some little reindeer. So there are a lot of die cuts here. And at this point, I just need to sort through them and figure out where it's stored, like where they need to be stored, what they need to be stored with. So not sure when that's going to happen, but at least I do have die cuts that are ready to use, and I have been using them. Like I pulled the bag of Halloween ones out and used that on my last Halloween card video. So that was probably the biggest, most time-consuming project I did, but not necessarily the biggest project in size. So next I decided to focus on, like, we are in full swing craft show season, fall craft show season. So I was playing with my fall scraps and did a bunch of projects. So I pulled out a bunch of smaller scraps and cut pumpkins. This is a block I've made in the past. Like it's kind of a block we always have in the fall, but the patterns change based on, like, usually I try to make it with scraps. So whatever scraps I happen to have, those are the patterns that happen to be on the block for that season. So I made, I think 4 with these patterns on there. I had enough scraps to do 4 of these blocks. And I just used my silhouette to cut the pumpkin out of all the little scraps. So got some of those. And then I also did some little mini rolling pins. These are really cute, like for kitchen trays or tier trays or like just bowls, like of groupings, whatever. And again, these were scraps. And then the rolling pins, I actually got mine off of Etsy a while ago. I don't even know if I remember the shop I got them from, but I know you can find them on Amazon. You can find them at Hobby Lobby, but I just kind of stained the ends and then Mod Podged on my paper around the middle. And so then there are some fall, and these were scraps, some bigger scraps. And then it's actually reversible, but only one side actually used scraps. I didn't have a lot of Halloween scraps. I think I used them all last year on cards, so I didn't have, and then I've used up all of my scraps as I made them this year. So, but this is a reversible set. Autumn, falling leaves, and pumpkins on one side. These were all like strips that I had, and they fit perfectly on here. So I had like 4 sets of these. But then again, on the other side, these 2 patterns were scraps, but then this one wasn't. And then I ran out of these and pulled in some other full sheets that I cut down. So, but this side is bats, candy corn, and Halloween. So you can kind of turn it around. I always love making reversible decor. It's something you can turn around after Halloween and keep it up for the rest of fall. And then I made a bunch of little pumpkins. So these were just scrap pieces of wood that we had in our stash. We inherited a lot of scrap pieces from my dad, and then my husband generates a lot of scrap pieces of wood. So I have different size, like cubes or block, and not all of them are cubes, blocks, I guess, and decided to decorate them up as pumpkins. So I have a couple different like groupings, and I will kind of put these together as a grouping in our craft show. I tried to pick some coordinating scraps that worked well together to do a set of 3. I stained the edges of all of the blocks just so that where my paper didn't cover, like it wasn't just raw wood, and then used Mod Podge to add paper to all of the blocks. And then you can use sticks from your yard. You could use cinnamon sticks, but I happen to find this is just sticks. And I liked them because they were nice and small and straight, which makes it easy for gluing. But I found them on clearance, I think last year after Christmas at Hobby Lobby. So I had those. But in the past, when I've made these, I've just used sticks from my yard. But I also have cinnamon sticks in my stash that you could cut down and also use. And that would also add a nice scent to go with the pumpkin. But anyway, I just trimmed down those sticks that I had and then hot glued them on. And I tried to find some like leaves, small leaves in my like floral stash, but I couldn't find anything that I really liked for the size of these. So I just decided to add some kind of tan colored ribbon that I had just to add something to the stem so they weren't quite so rustic. So these are all scraps from a fall pad I think I used up last year, and they were pieces that I'd missed because they were stored somewhere else. So I just kind of, because they all coordinated, like this is the one that ties everything together, they all coordinated, so I just decided to do those as a grouping. And then I have these like thin pieces, again, just in our scrap wood stash. And I decided to make some bigger pumpkin blocks. And again, just stained the edges and Mod Podged on my scraps, and then used those sticks and then tied on the ribbon to these as well. So just some fun. Like these are great if you have tiered trays or just little vignettes, little shelves, copy bars, places that you could tuck little things in that you just need some fillers. That's what these are great for. And I know in the past when I've had like tiered tray groupings at our craft shows, there are people that will buy the whole group because they don't want to have to think about it. They don't want to have to like seek out all the different pieces. They would just rather buy the whole grouping. So that's why I was trying to kind of group some things together, like coordinate patterns and colors. So I don't have a lot to show you. I mean, I was able to make 4 sets of these with those fall paper scraps, and then again 4 of these blocks, and then all these like other little pieces. And the funny thing is, all of those took way less than all of the die cuts. But again, it is nice to have these, and like I said, I have started pulling from the stash already. So that is my scrap project share for you today. There will be a tutorial coming on my channel for these little pumpkin guys. So look for that to come out soon. But please, again, be sure to check out all of the other participants to see what kind of scraps they use and what they made with their scraps. It's always a great place for ideas on using up things in your stash. I love this collaboration just for that. So thank you guys so much for your time today, and I hope you all have a very crafty day.